Well, good morning. It's such a hot day I didn't even bother to put a shirt on. It's hot. I'm trying to do violin sanding, and what we've ended up with is a cloudy day. It's not raining, but it is cloudy and no wind, and it's hot. So it's muggy and it's not conducive to sanding. I run the risk of getting the wood with moisture into it. There is literally not a breath of wind out there, and this cloud cover has parked itself right up over the top of us. I don't think it's going to rain, but what it's done is it's generating a lot of heat because there's just no wind at all. It's humid and muggy and horrible. Right, that said, I've still got to go out and sand it. So, where did we get to yesterday? Well, we didn't do too badly. We got that bit there done, and we started around the sides. Okay. Started to go around the sides. I got quite a lot off the top, but I dare not take any more material off the top. It's had a pretty good shot. Now, I haven't worked out how I'm going to deal with this stuff underneath here. It's a bit of an issue because there's just no way to get neatly under there without some kind of a tool. I haven't worked out what kind of tool I need to do that yet. But I'm pretty happy with the way that front's come up. There's not a lot left to do, and I reckon the light sand to smooth that will take care of these residual stains, right? Because that's just stain that's left over. I've got to work out how to do these fiddly bits here. I'm not taking this out. I'm going to leave it, so I've got to get around it. I've got to get these fiddly pieces done. They're not easy. They might look it, but they're not. And I don't know. I've got all that. This has to get sanded today, or it's not going to be ready for next week. And I've got an overcast, muggy day. Couldn't have asked for a worse situation bar rain. And if it rains, it's all over. I can't sand out on the balcony. So I might have to think about going downstairs, setting up the table downstairs, setting up a light, setting up some protection, maybe a fan, using the power, and sanding down there. Now, yesterday I investigated using a power tool. Yeah, you heard me. I don't like the thought of using a power tool on this, but the one thing the power tool will do is remove a lot of material very quickly. It's way faster than me sanding it with my hand, and well, I hate the thought of that. If I just take off the varnish layer and don't take off the stain layer with the power tool, then all I've got to do is sand out the stain. I think that will be acceptable because it's not hitting the wood grain, it's only hitting that varnish. Now let me show you something. I'm going to pause this. I do have a renovator. Here it is, an actual renovator off the TV. Went and bought one. It's not very old, but look at this. This is the sanding head off the renovator. And this is the Velcro, which is supposed to be on the sanding head, which I took off yesterday because look at the Velcro. It's completely worn down, so nothing sticks to it. So I've stripped that off. And I went and bought some pads with some Velcro. I'm just going to stick that all over the top of that head. It's only rubber, sticky backed. That's just a sticky back bit of Velcro, that's all it is. So I'm just going to put all the Velcro that's in that packet all over the head of that, so I can keep using it. But the problem with this, right, is once again, I loaned that to somebody, and that's how it's come back. Also, he gave me back my bits, and he didn't replenish the bits that he used. So I've only got a number of sanding pads. Why do I lend my tools to people? I don't know. I feel sorry for them. You know, they're mates of mine. They got this job on. They can't get it done. They need the tool. Here you go. Yep. Just make sure you look after it and give it back to me in the same condition. Yeah, no worries. No worries. No worries. You idiot. That includes my son. My son's borrowed my tools, and you know, they come back in all sorts of conditions. He didn't learn that from me. I look after my tools. I maintain my tools. So, what do you do with people that you care about, that borrow your tools and you give them back, and you know, like, there's the bits he used. I put the plastic bag around him. He just threw them in the box. He didn't bother putting them back where he found them in the tool caddy. He put them in the box. And he squashed the box, and he's done. I don't want to talk about it. I'm over it. I'm not lending my tools to people. They can organise their own tools. You know, I've organised my own tools. They can organise their own tools. Right, so I'm going to make a decision about going out in this balcony in this weather. It's a real pain in the arse sitting up downstairs. There's no light. There's no ventilation. I'd have to take a fan. I'd have to, you know, take a table and a chair, and it's just a pain. I'd rather sit up out there on that balcony. Got to repair this tool, and what it involves, I bought these Velcro pizzos. They're just sticky back Velcro things. I'm not interested, you know, like these cost me in a $2 shop somewhere. You can see they're the Velcro bits that we need. And all I'm going to do with that is I'm going to peel them off. Here. You're not going to be able to see this, I suppose. One at a time. Oh, excellent. They don't, the sticky stuff doesn't peel off them. They don't just peel off. Right. Peel the sticky shit off. Oh, that's very sticky. Happy with that. And put them on there till that's all covered with Velcro. And then trim out those edges. So I'm just going to go around that edge with those. I'll do another one. Alright, it's going to go in this bit. I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife to trim this around this edge. I'm just going around with the X-Acto knife. Now the trick to this is you're supposed to put them on in the same orientation, but I'm not going to worry. I'm just going to chuck them on. Here's 3. Velcro. All these little bits I trim off, I'm going to chuck in the gaps. Right? That's what's going to happen. So when we trim all these little bits off, I'll go into these little gaps here. See these gaps? So I'll go around there. There's 3. What am I going to use? 9. What have I got? 8. I've only got 8. I'm going to use 9. No, I'm only going to use 8. I should have bought 2 of these things. This is fun. Repairing tools. It should be just, you know, my tools. You go to the toolbox, you put your hand on the tool, and it's ready to go. Yeah, right. Unless you lend it to somebody else, in which case you go to the tool, put your hand, and you spend time repairing it, and then it's ready to go. I've got to get right around the pad first, and then we'll worry about using the bits we trim off to fill in the gaps. I'm just going to make sure I've got coverage right around the pad. These things are really sticky. Righto, so what do you reckon, the old X-Acto knife or the scissors? We got round the pad. I need to trim this one because these bigger pieces I can put into these gaps. I might try the scissors, I think. I'm going after an old pair of scissors. The thing about my scissors is they're always sharp. I've got an older pair here. When I say they're always sharp, my wife's been using these. You can tell, look at them. Huh? She's been using those for cutting God knows what, and they've got them like that, so I won't be using that pair. Because I won't cut crap. Another old pair here. That's more like it. Look at that. Sharp. You're going to go around this edge. That was sharp. The sticky shit's getting to the bottom of the scissors. Right, see that bit? It'll probably happily go in there. See what's going to happen? The bits you cut off, and I'm going to get stuck in the bits that aren't covered. Got a really big bit to cut off of this one, but it's a bit of a tricky cut because you've got to start over here. You guys can't see what I'm doing. Ah! The glue is getting on the cutting edge of the scissors. As sometimes happens when you use good scissors. So these will require cleaning as soon as I'm finished. Not ideal, but you know, it is what it is. Got this really big piece to deal with over here. I might deal with it. Because I want it in here. Cut there. And some of these smaller pieces over time are probably going to go there. But I don't really care, because I think I've achieved enough of a result. I don't care about the holes as much. Still a gap there, that's all that matters. I think I'll stick that back on that white sheet. How's that? They can sit there. These little pieces can just go straight in the bin. And the reason I've used old scissors and not new ones is quite evident. Okay. It's because when you get the glue on the scissors, it blunts the action, it stops the action of the scissors because it's very strong glue. Happy about the glue, it's good stuff. Righto, so I've got Velcro on the tool again. This is good news. It's got Velcro on it. It's not the Velcro it come with, but it's Velcro. It's working. They're not coming off, not any time soon. Just got to finish trimming these couple up with these now completely glue-filled scissors. See, the bits are sticking to the blade, the glue's coming off, the scissors are going blunt fast. I'll have to clean them up, put them away, and they'll be ready to go again. These scissors are a really old pair of scissors, so probably about 6 years old, something like that. They still work. And they still work because I look after them, like I do all my tools. There you go, all the bits of stuff I cut off that couldn't fit back on. See a little bit there. I think I'm being pedantic now. I mean, there's enough Velcro on that. It's going to hold the pads. It's actually really sharp. I'm happy that I've decided to do this. I just want to deal with this. Not happy with you. I don't know how to deal with you now that you're in there. I don't know how I'm going to get you to cut. Probably like that. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. There's really nowhere to stick that. There you go. It's covered in Velcro. It's not the Velcro it needs to have, but it's Velcro, and it's got the right shape. Let's see if it works. For the day, we're ready to rock. I think you guys have got to strap in because I think I'm going to go out in the balcony and I'm going to use the power tool on the violin. I'm going to see just a small area first to see if it's going to do what I need it to do. And if it does, then I'm going to use it. And if it doesn't, well, I'll go back to hand sanding it out on the balcony. Because I've got to tell you, despite it being muggy and hot and bloody no breeze, I'll go out there and turn the fan on out there, use my own power, sit in the chair and just keep sanding. I'm going to put the same clobber on that I had on yesterday. I'm going to be filthy. It's filthy anyway. It's a filthy job sanding, it really is. You just get dust everywhere, you get covered in it. So I'll get this thing sanded down and then I'll come in and have a shower and think about the next level, which is going to be stoning it and maybe doing this dragon's head. The the Dragon's Head's now time dependent. If I can get it in the time I have, I'll do that. But if I can't, I tried. I'm going to try to draw one in. You know, it's. I'll print something out on the printer over here. I've got a printer. I think I'll have a look on the internet, get some kind of black and white image that I can copy, but draw it freehand. I don't want to be tracing shit, you know. To me, it's cheating when you trace shit. Yeah, I prefer to draw it because it'll be unique. There won't be another image in the world like it, and in the universe like it, because I drew it. We just have to have a look and see what's going on. Okay, let's get on with it. Get into the day. I've got to get some brekkie. I've got to get good coffee. Good coffee's on the brew. Yeah, 35-cent coffee's coming. Now let's get into sanding this thing up. So just a quick addendum to that previous video. Remember what they look like? Now that's just rubbed down with a little bit of wet and dry, ultra fine paper. Alright, now that pair there has got an appointment with the sharpening stone, and what I might do if I'm going to get the sharpening stone out is might give them a touch up as well. Absolutely clean, put away, ready to go for next time. They're sharp. They're always sharp, but that looked a little bit second hand. That's just been hit with some ultra fine wet and dry. Alright, both of them. I'll hit them both with it. Just to rub down with a bit of sandpaper. I'll hit them with the Brillo pad first to get the bulk of the shit off them. They're still sharp. Don't get me wrong. They look like crap, but they'll work. They're good for little jobs like that where you don't want to bust out a brand new pair of your good scissors, you know, like these ones. They're also sharp ass. No, they can go to the sharpening street pair. Bugger, if I'm going to get the sharpening stone out, let's do a freaking scissor. This is the real good pair. That cuts all the way through that edge, all the way to the end. Beautiful pair of scissors. I'm going to get the sharpening stone out. Things are going to get sharpened. Right. That's another job for another day though. I've got to do the sanding. Righto, so next order of business is breakfast. Coffee. Me coffee. And then sanding, and more sanding. We'll see how we go. And wonderfully, a small breeze has come up out of the ocean. Those clouds are starting to move off into the inland where they're needed. Let's see if we can get some sun happening out there and get out there and sand by the time I'm done breakfast. Righto, let's keep going. Hey, welcome back. Well, the wind has done its job. The day has dried out beautifully. We've got no cloud cover and the sun's out. We're nearly at 12 o'clock, so it's taken nearly 2 hours for it to dry out enough for me to go back out and sand. Now, I repaired that Dremel, not the Dremel. I repaired the Renovator tool. I've got a sanding pad all ready to go on there, and I think because it's a reciprocating one that I can use it the way of the reciprocator along the grain of the wood, forwards and backwards, to take a lot of the varnish off the back of the violin. So I'm going to use it only on the back of the violin, where it's going to, if it screws it up, it's going to be less noticeable to people that it's on the back. So I want to get as much varnish off this thing as I can get. Sitting here waiting patiently for me to get back to it. And then all I've got to do is work out how to get into these bits. Right? I want to get right into these little nooks and crannies. But I should have this completely sanded within a couple of hours. I want to take all that varnish off the back and then get back into these sides. I'm going to use the power tool. I've run out of time. I've got to have this sanded off today. Got to be finished. Because tomorrow, I'm going to get a coat of stain. I've got my stain. I've got some. Well, I've got some things to do with it, right? I've got some wax. I've got some low spots here that I'm going to go through with some wax to just bring these low spots up. I've got the 240 grit ready to go. I'm not going to hit it with the 1000 grit. It won't need it. I'm happy for this finish to be. It's a lot smoother now than what it was under what these guys did with this, right? So I'm hopeful that the clear coat over the top will take out the same kind of finish once I get it done. Now I've got all that ready to go. I'm going to get into it. I'm going to tape with this camera using the power tool on the back of it. I don't recommend you do this, right? This is hopefully a way for me to save a bit of time, but I really don't recommend doing it with a power tool. I recommend doing it by hand, but I'm going to try to get all this varnish, all this clear coat off. So I want to get through the clear coat and through the varnish just down to the stain layer, and then I'll do it by hand, right? That's the hope, because I should be able to get there fairly quickly. There's no fiddly bits on the back to worry about, so hopefully we should get down to that fairly quickly. I'm hopeful within an hour. But this stuff here is going to take me another couple of hours to get around. It's got to be done with sandpaper. There's no other way to do it. You've got to get your sandpaper in there and rub it. I'm going to investigate the Dremel. I've got the fine actuator piece on the Dremel. What I'm worried about with using the Dremel is that you can take off a lot of material real quick. So I'm going to practice with it on this. Alright, I want to see if there's a way of using the Dremel one to get into these fine places. If I can't get it to work properly, I'll leave it alone. I'll go back to the sandpaper. Right, well, let's get into it. Okay, so just a quick addendum: safety gear. Earplugs for the power tool, always. Eye protection, these glasses give me enough eye protection. Footwear, always enclosed shoes. If you drop the tool, it's going to hit the shoe, not your foot. Righto, so hearing protection, eye protection. Dust I'm not worried about. There's a breeze going across the balcony, beautiful. So it's going to blow the dust away from me. I'm happy with that. Going to get into it. Righto, that's the safety done. Righto, so another quick note. Battery was as flat as a pancake. I left it on menu plugged into the computer last night. It wasn't on, it was just plugged in. I thought it would draw power from the USB. It doesn't. It flattened the battery. So it's completely flat. So I'm going to do a bit of recording on using the iPhone. I don't know how that's going to go, but I've got to keep moving.
Check it out. It's not my favourite cup, but it is my favourite coffee. Today we're going to be working on Project Violin. I wanted to get onto it yesterday, but things kind of got away from me, and today it's the 20th. In 5 days time it's Christmas Day, and I promised this to my niece. So this thing has to get sanded today, and it has to get stained, and then tomorrow it has to get varnished and sealed, and that gives it 3 days to dry. I want to put a dragon motif onto the face of the violin. I'm a little bit underprepared for this video, but you'll forgive me for that. we've gone through a bit of a personal thing with Mum passing away. I'm still a bit raw, and I'm thinking about her all the time, as you would be. But my immediate thoughts are with my family and the promise I've made to my niece that she's going to get this for Christmas. So this has to get done. Now, it's not the ideal day. We've got cloud cover and threatening rain, but it's dry. There's a nice breeze. It's not as humid as it was yesterday. I had intended to finish the sanding yesterday, but things got away from me. And well, today we've just got to finish off the sanding, so let's do that and get into it. Alright, so I'll see you guys out on the balcony. I'll grab the other camera, and I'm just going to, I don't know, show you guys how I sand. You got to sand with the grain of the bamboo. You got to take your time, you can't rush it. I start with 80 grit, and then I drop down to 240 grit to finish it, and that's good enough for this particular thing. If I really wanted to go a lot finer, I'd go down to 1000 grit or 1200 or something like that, but 240 will finish this up just fine. And it needs to be a little bit rough in terms of its finish, because it's bamboo, and if you go too fine on bamboo, you actually score the wood. I won't talk any more about that, but bamboo is a stringy wood, and if you go too fine in stringy wood, what happens is the grit gets inside the fibres and you actually get a worse finish. So don't go with bamboo, or don't go any further down than 240. It's something that's personal preference. It's not a rule. Okay. All right. I'm looking at the window. The monstrosity grew. We went away for Mum's funeral, and that monstrosity of a building grew another 6 floors while we were away. And there's no sign of it stopping. It's still going up. They put another 6 floors on top of it. And they haven't, well, actually, they've shifted the crane up another 6 floors. So it looks to me like they're going to put yet another 6 floors on top of that. Monstrosity of a thing it is. Jeez. Even the birds have bloody had enough. Like they've gone off the other side. Used to get birds and that running around in the trees outside here. There's been no birds for weeks. Anyway, enough of that shit. Oh, beep, 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 beep. I'm not cutting that out. It is crap. I'm not working again, for those that are following along on that. The temporary job finished, and I'm broke again. I've spent all my money sort of travelling to Mum and up and down and doing shit. So the money's all gone. So the violin itself, this is where we left it. I mean, we started to get quite a lot of the front off. You can still see there's a lot of damage still on the back. That might polish out, but I don't like this colour. I want to change up the colour. And you see this sort of damage here is still in the, well, I'm just going to wax that in. It's going to have to wear its beauty marks, because I don't want to take any more material off it. It's got an even, when you tap it, if you tap in a circumference, it's got to sound the same. See, wherever you tap in the circumference, it's got to sound at the same point. Here over the cuts, it's going to sound a bit different. See, there's not as much material here, so when you tap it, it's got a different sound. Down the center of the violin should always sound the same.
you tap it. You can check it on the back easier. See, it's got it. See how it changes it? Well, that's where the holes are at the front. So interestingly, when they've made this, there's more material here than there is here. So when I come through here, I have to be very, very careful about what I'm sanding. Right? You can't just... You've got to go soft strokes and you've got to go easy. Nice long soft strokes all the way through the instrument. There's dings and scratches all through this. You can't see it very well on this. It actually looks pretty good, but I can tell you it's got dings and scratches everywhere. I took all the crayon off it. There were crayons and biro marks and God knows what, and I've taken all that off with methylated spirits. I've just given it a rub with isopropanol and methylated. I started with metho and I finished with the isopropanol, right? The rubbing alcohol. It's good for taking most of it off, and it's probably brought out a lot of the stuff, but I really hate the colour of this wood, and I'm going to change it by staining it a different colour, as you're going to see. So I've got to get back into the front. I want to finish the front, flip it over, and I want to sand all this off, right? And then we're going to go from there. So I'll see you guys out on the balcony with the other camera. Righto folks, what's happened is the weather's lined up. It's gotten really humid outside, and I got the thing, we're 2 hours in, and that's as far as I got. I have to excuse me, my phone's ringing. Yeah, so righto, so updating our project Violin. This is the result of nearly 3.5 hours work out on the balcony. I'm still not finished with it, so all this has to be taken out, all this remnant stone. I've still got to get around it. I've still got to do the back. So I'm running out of time fast. I need to get this sanded off. I'm going to keep going with it until it gets dark. I can't go into when it gets cool because there's moisture in the air. I have to put it away, and I'll have to tackle it again tomorrow morning, and hopefully it doesn't rain. If it rains, all bets are off. I don't know what to do because I won't get it ready in time. But I'm now 5 days away from Christmas Day, and I promised it to my niece for Christmas Day. Now this has to get sanded, it has to get stained, and it has to get clear coated. I'm doing a clear coat, not a varnish. And I've got all the gear to do the job. I've just got to finish sanding it. It's a long process. You can't go bullet a gut. You can't go too quickly. But look at this beautiful pinstripe that's come out. That beautiful pinstripe. Look at the difference between that and that. Can't even see it in that. Have a look at it there. Beautiful pinstripe. So it's going to get a really light mapley colour. I hope it, or you know, some colour that brings that pinstripe out. And I'm still toying with the idea of putting a dragon on it, so that when she's putting it up here, somewhere up here there will be a dragon that'll show off the heritage of the violin being a Chinese made. You can almost see a dragon's features here. That might be something I might incorporate as a dragon. It's not a bad idea. I might see if I can build that up into some kind of dragon. It's facing the wrong way. It's facing the wrong way. It's got to be facing that way, towards the music, towards the audience. It's got to be facing away. If it's facing in, the dragon's got to be looking out, always got to be looking out. It's a shame that's the wrong way around. Still, it's just more and more sanding, more sanding, more sanding. Just keep sanding, just keep sanding, just keep sanding. I've been at it for nearly 3.5, nearly 4 hours, and that's what I've got to. I've got to keep going. There's probably 2 hours of daylight left. I'm going to take the other camera out and see if I can capture me sanding a little bit on the project. But look, let's face it, I'm not a good photographer. So if I capture it, good. If not, well, who knows what I capture. Okay, back to it. Righto. So I've done it. It's got the dragon in there. What I'm going to do is ink that in. I freehand drew that, right? Just drew it on there. But the idea is that I want it to look as though there's flame coming out of this violin when you're playing it. People are going to be able to see that. They're going to see that flame coming out of it, coming out of this thing. It's not too bad. It's not 100%, but it's better than nothing, and it's mine. I drew it. Here's our dragon. Okay. I think that'll work. I think all I've got to do is ink that over a little bit, bolden it up a bit where it needs to be bold. The rest of it can just stay as that kind of ghostly outline. And I like this fire effect here. I'm thinking of leaving all that in exactly as it is, because when you play this thing, it's going to play some beautiful music. And dragons are really beautiful. They're terrifyingly beautiful, but they're beautiful. Now, this wind is picking up a bit, which is good, but it's also bad because it's blowing a shower through. So we've got a little bit of a sprinkle of rain going on out there, so I can't do any work on this. So that's going to get put away. Put it back in its case. And I'm going to have to think of something else to do. Like, now the other job that needs doing for us is to start that black car. I haven't even moved. I've basically had breakfast, good coffee, 35-cent coffee. I don't know. I don't know what to do, because I want that rain to go away. But it's going to take an hour for that weather to dry out again and all that moisture to disappear. So I've got basically, I guess, 2 hours, and I'm not going to sit around for 2 hours and do nothing. So I guess go get into the working clobber, get a couple of tools, and let's go down and look at this black car and get back into that. So Project Violin's on hold again till the weather becomes a bit better for me, and we're going to move over into the black car. Righto, so we're back out here on the balcony. There's my tool caddy. You can see there's a breeze. No real danger of inhaling fumes or anything. Here's our violin. And what I want to do is finish taking this off and start on these sides. Get right around the side and hopefully have all that finished before the sun goes down. I'll show you what I'm using. Well, I thought this was 80, it's in fact 60 grit. And what I'm doing is I'm chopping myself a strip, my scissors, like this, in my bag of tricks. Just fold this over into squares. And that little piece there is what I'm chucking into that. So as you can see, you've got to get right down. It's not level. And that's giving me something of an issue.
got to press a bit harder to get to it. As you can see, you get to it. You've got to go with the grain. Can't go too hard. You crack the bamboo. Go as hard as you dare. Take your time. Take as much material as you can. Now I don't know what's showing up here. But you may be able to see all the damage that was done to it. You can just see the outlines of the biro scratches and all the rest of it that was in it. And what I've got to do is I've got to come back with a fine grit, go over all that, with a fine grit, and just take all that scratching out. Rubbing with the grain, nice and soft. This is a coarse grit, but it's taking the bulk of that scratching out, which is what I've got to do. See all the scratching that's in it? It's all got to come out. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know how well it shows up, but there it is. It's on there. It's all through here. This was all scratches and dings that the bloke that owned it, you know, the kid that owned it, he scratched the crap out of it. And I had to repair it here. It's had glue in there. It's had glue here. He kind of did some shit here, but I got it back. You can see it's pretty well put back together. So it's just a case of being persevering, staying with it, taking your time, and rubbing all this back. So you put that on there, taking your time, working your way around, taking all that rotten varnish off. We're going to bring this back to a beautiful colour, a lovely white colour. It's probably going to be closer to this colour here. It's beautiful wood. Bamboo is a beautiful wood, it really is. It deserves to be shown off. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our time. You can see how long it's taken me to just rub out this varnish. Plenty of wind, so I've got no breathing protection or anything like that. But you just take your time and rub it and rub it and rub it, and you get that. So that's what we want. We want it all to come out. You don't want to squeeze in the wrong place when you're holding the thing. We'll split the bamboo. You've got to get right into the crack, right into the grain of the wood, and keep rubbing until you get down to the bamboo. There's probably 3 layers there. There's a stain layer, a varnish and a clear coat. So they've actually done 3 things, 3 treatments on it. Plenty of sandpaper. Don't have to worry about sandpaper. We start in the spot, take our time, just keep rubbing till we get all the way through it. Now hopefully this is all in shot and you can see what I'm doing. And it's taking it completely back to the bamboo. See how much time it takes to get down to that bamboo layer correctly. You can't rub it too hard, you're going to kill the shape of the wood. Now the other thing you can't do is you can't do it if you've got damp weather, because this is kiln dried wood. It's completely dry, and if you get it wet you have to dry it again before you stone it, or it'll warp on you. And we don't want this wood to warp at all. We want it to hold its shape, we want it to hold its form, we want it to hold its strength. So you've got to go easy. You can't take too much material off. If you've hit bamboo, you've got to stop rubbing it. See, we're into bamboo here. We don't want to be rubbing that part, but we've got to get down into this. This is where it gets interesting, when you get right into these niggly, cornery, stupidy bits. Getting them out, pain in the neck. Now I'm using the corner of my little fold. Get right up under that lip. You can see it's taken out the varnish. We've got a nice clean finish. Now there's spots, I don't know if you can see it, but where they've glued it originally, that's in there as well. There's actually globs of glue in there, making it very hard to get a smooth finish. So we're actually sanding down the globs of glue as well. What we don't want to do is sand through them. But we do have to take out all that varnish. It's got to come out. Take your time. If you go a bit faster, you got to push a bit softer. Getting in here is the challenging bit. You can see how much time it takes to do it. I'm nowhere near finished this piece. I've got it down to what this is. But I've been rubbing for about, what, 10 minutes, thereabouts, and that's as much as I've got. I've got to get all the way around, so if that's 10 minutes, that's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 minutes, 120, 150, 180, 210. 210 minutes divided by 60, nearly 4 hours of sanding just to get around there. You heard me. That's what it'll be. Plus I've got to clean this up. Now I'm not taking any more material off this. This is going to come over with the light. I'm going to use the fine grit and just take a light rub and take all this roughness out of it. So we'll come back through this with a light sandpaper just to take those remnants and bring this back up to a nice smooth finish, get all the scratching out. It's as smooth can be when I'm finished. I want to try to see these edges in here. I don't know what he's done in here. I want to try to see, you don't want to be mucking around in there too much, because it's pretty fragile. If you muck with it the wrong way, you'll break the crap out of it. So you can see, even just a light rub with coarse grit is no good, because that's now deep in the grain and all these scratches have got to come out. I don't want to pull too much more material, because when you tap it, the sound's consistent. So I know I've done the right thing. I haven't changed that sound. If you change the sound, you know you've pulled too much material off, and you've got to balance that material. The sound has to be consistent. That's how you tell. Same on the back. When we get into this, I don't know how the scratches don't show up on the film, because, you know, to me, I can see scratches everywhere on this thing. But when you show it up on the camera, they don't show up. Go figure. There's like, I've rubbed this back with isopropanol, which is the rubbing alcohol, and metho, a bit of metho. So I've just used that on a rag, and I've taken all of the crayon and all the crap that he had on the back of this has all been taken off. So I'm just going to continue working this through, working this over until I get it finished. Righto, I'll see you when I've done probably a couple of hours of a fair way into this. Righto, so this is recording. I'm just doing an area record I don't know what I've done with stuff. Had a bunch of stuff in my bag. Here's my test piece of wood. Just going to go get that stone. Just bear with me. Back again. Right, so I'm in front of the camera somewhere. Here's the piece of wood. Working with a bit of wind on your face here. Easiest thing in the world to do when you're working with bits of paper and stuff. But anyway, here's your stone. I want to look at this colour. So before I go anywhere near the violin with it, I'm going to have a look at it. And hopefully it's going to be something close to what I want it to be. The deep mahogany. Except the deep mahogany might be too dark. Might be completely wrong for the job. Okay, well I cut all my fingernails off too, so getting this off might be a problem. What do they do? They put an alfoil thing, they don't give you a pull tab, they just put it on there. There's no pull tab. Bloody brilliant. They don't want you to use it, that's what it is. They want you to use something else. My fingernails, though cut, should be able to get that little bit there. I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to say screw it. And just tear it like that. Oh, really good news. So when you tear the alfoil off, like so, there's a sheet of plastic. I really don't want you to use this stuff. There's a big sheet of plastic under it as well. Alright, so let's look at this mahogany colour. It's kind of a mulberry colour, purpley colour. I'm not sure that's what I want. Let's have a look. So what we're doing, we're going to daub some on a rag. We're going to chuck it on the wood. Boy jingo, that is really, really, really dark. It's not what I want. It's not even close to what I want. Look at this colour. That is nothing like the colour that was on the thing. It's completely wrong. So what am I going to do with this? Well, the options are you can get some terps and thin it out. You can thin it with terps and make it into a kind of a mulberry purple. There's no way I want it to be that colour. And that's not the colour I wanted on the thing. It's not the colour that was on the sample for this particular thing. It was a redder, much redder colour than that. So how about this, the crayon? What colour is this? Yeah, look at that. Now if you can see it, do you see that colour there? That's the colour I wanted. That coppery colour. That's what I wanted, not that. Look at the difference. Huge difference. was a kind of a coppery colour. See that colour there? That's what I wanted, not that. That. I think what I'll do is I'll take my sample piece down to Bunnings and show them what I got and show them what I need. But this colour here is it's a kind of a pinky copper. See, even that's too pink. It was copper, was the colour. You know, that copper colour. I'm going to take that down to Bunnings and show it to them and say, well, what I wanted was a coppery colour. That's too pink, that's too purple. I want something with that colour but with a bit more red in it. So if you get that, and you wax it in, work it into your wood. Right, so that's your wax. You added red or a burnt orange or something to that, you'd probably get the colour I want. So that's a fail. Back to Bunnings. Bunglings. I'll keep this for a different job. Put it away. Just go in the cupboard. Do I need it for something else? Can't believe that. It's completely wrong. That's mulberry. That's dark. I didn't want a dark colour for this violin. I wanted a light colour. So back to bunglings. Put those away. Put all that away. Job's on hold, that's it, we're done. Got the wrong colour. We have to go back to the hardware, get the right colour. Bunglings. See, I told the guy what I wanted. I wanted a kind of a copper orange colour. And he showed me the sample and he said that's the one there, and he gave it to me and he sold it to me, and that's what I got. Completely different. Not happy, Jan. Righto, that's it. So at the finish, I've done 3 days of sanding on it, and I can't get it with what I've got any better than that. So it's going to bear some of its marks of its heritage, and I don't mind that. So my next thing to do is to test this stone that I've got to see is it going to be exactly what I want it to be. And if it is, I'm going to stain this thing and hang it. Just hang it up. I'll run a hook through one of the peg holes, and I'll just start, and I'll stain it, get it all the colour I want it. I've got my test piece of wood out there and I've got the stone, so let's get that out and show it to you. Now, this has been hanging around for a while, so you have to forgive me a little bit. Should have enough there. And that's a mahogany stone. Right, that's the one I got. And then I've got to finish it clear coat. So I'm going to spray clear it after I've stained it and let the stone settle. But I want to make sure that that stone's the right colour, the right one. And to do that, I need a brush. I'm just going to pause this. Right, so back again. Brush. For getting into those tight spots that you can't get into. This is my application system. I've got a piece of microfiber cloth, which is actually a polishing cloth for a car. And what I do is I wrap a bit of tissue paper around the back of it, like that. Dip it in the stain. Block on the stain. Dab it on. Rub it on. And where you can't get it in, you use this one, and it pushes it in. So we're going to head out to the balcony again. I've got a test piece of wood. I'm going to try this stain. I've also got some wax here. I don't know what I've done with it. It was on the front here.
Here's a thing of wax. I don't know where it's gone. It was here in the front. There it is. Found it. So that's wax. So if you've got any horrible spots, you put that in as well. But I just got to make sure this is the colour I want this to be. It's only going to be a really light stain. So I'm heading out to the balcony again. Oh, the camera's charged up, so I should be able to show you what I'm doing. Complete and utter failure. Look at that dark piece of crap. That's nothing like the sample. The sample was kind of a coppery colour. I haven't even got something here. It looks like a piece of copper. That's the copper finish was the finish I wanted. A really pink, rosy copper. You know, kind of a reddy copper finish. That's not even close. That's mulberry. That's not bloody mahogany. Normally black mulberry. Even if you thinned that out with 15 bloody gallons of thinner, you know, that would still not be the right colour. Oh, I'm sick of people that are supposed to be professionals that tell you to do something. It's like the bloody car. Well, guess what? We can swap from this job to the car. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go down and we're going to photograph the car. So, for now, that's part 3 of sanding back the violin. We've got a sanded back violin. Here it is. That's as good as I can get it. Right. We're going to stain it the right colour. And we're going to crack on. There is still a dragon there. You can still just see him. It's finished standard. I've gone over this now. I went over it with the 60 grit. I then went over it with 240 grit, and I've been over it with 1000 grit. So it's had a really fine sand back. It's really, really smooth. All these surfaces are smooth. I need to wipe all the sawdust off it, so it's got to get a wipe down with a nice, clean, dry raid, get the dusty bits off it. And then we're going to hit it with this, but not with that. We're going to hit it with this to finish it. We've got a clear coat, we've got a stain. You know, I just don't understand why people can't do their jobs properly. They just don't do them properly. Alright, so I'm going to head down to the car and we're going to try to fix the car. Cheers. Righto, so I'm going to wrap up day 3 of sanding the violin. In truth, this has been a mission. I think I started this back in, I don't know, October. The sanding, and every day I went to do it, I had some weather issue or some issue or personal issue or whatever issue that I couldn't get it done. But you see, what I did right was I made a promise to Talia that she's getting this as a Christmas present. So today we've ended up with a sanded back violin. That's as good as I can get it with what I've got. I'm not really worried about this stuff. I think that's going to add some class and character to it. I went to do the stain and we fell apart because the stain that's been sitting now for 3 hours since you last saw it, and it's gone black. It's not even close. It's miles from the copper colour that I wanted. I wanted this rich copper colour. This is even, you know, it looks pink now that it's settled. This is closer to it, but it's pink and it's not copper. If you had somewhere between the two of them, you know, you'd get what I want. I don't know if I can make it up using crayons or something like that. I'll see if I can do that and then go down to Bunnings with my sample and just show them what I've got and what I'm trying to achieve. And hopefully tomorrow they'll be able to sort me out with the proper one. Now, you're not going to need a lot because a little bit of stain, barely a dab on the rag, has covered that much of this particular test piece. So that little bottle that I bought was heaps. It's going to last me for 20 years, that bottle, because I'll never use that again probably.
But anyway, there it is. That's a bad result in terms of that, because I didn't get the stain on. We've got to make sure it stays dry, so I've got it in its case. Back inside its violin case, which is as dry and tight as I can keep it. I don't want any moisture, any humidity getting to it while it's in its current condition, because if it does, I've got to kiln dry it again. I've got to get heat into it and get it completely dry. But I've got to rub it back with something to take all the sawdust off it, and I'm not sure what the go is with that, what you use. I know there's a pre-treat Cabot's product that you can use, which is supposed to just literally be an isopropanol derivative, which evaporates as quickly as it hits the wood. So like you don't actually interfere with the dried timber. But I don't like the idea of putting anything wet on the thing, so I'm thinking I might just find a mate with a compressor and see if we can use an air gun and just blow the crap out of it and just blast it with compressed air to get all the bloody sawdust off it before we go near it with the I've got a mate that's got a compressor, so he should be okay to use it. And yeah, we'll blast the crap out of it with the compressor and see if we can then stain it to its correct colour and hang it and leave it for 24 hours and then clear coat it and leave it for 24 hours and then wrap it up and give it to Talia because it's hers. And I've got to put all the bits back on it as well. So now, one final note, we tried to use power tools today. To a degree, I had a bit of success with them because I found out that it wasn't practical. It was quicker to do it by hand. So the sandpaper by hand was more efficient than the power tool was, which is counterintuitive. But we've got the power tools out, and before I turn in, they're going to get some maintenance. You're going to have to dust all the sawdust because they were sitting out there on the balcony getting covered in sawdust. So I'm going to take a brush to them and brush all the sawdust off them, treat them with a little bit of RP7 to make sure that there's nothing interfering with the mechanisms and the bolts and stuff, and then put them away in their respective cases the way they're supposed to be put away so that it's ready to go for next time, and put them away where they belong, up here in the racks. So we're done with all these power tools. They're finished. No more tools. The only job left to do on the violin now is to stain and paint it in the clear coat, and that's ready to go as soon as I get the correct shit. So there it is. I've got some earplugs here that need to get put away. I reuse them. I don't give a bugger. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what this is. I'll have to go find out whether that's a winner. It's a lottery ticket that's been hanging around. I haven't even checked it. I'll go check it and see if it's won anything. Alright, yeah, that's it. We're done. This is the end of part 3 of sanding the violin, day 3. The next thing will be staining and painting it. So I want you to make good decisions and do good things. I want you, if you feel like you can't do it anyway, which is what I've been doing all day. I've been so hot and, you know, I've just had to push on. Can't do it anyway. Make good decisions, do good things, keep on swinging. I'll see you next time.